Welcome back to another Album Book Club song review. We took a bunch of your song suggestions, put them into a playlist, and we're going to review them. Let's get right into it.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon for notifications.
First up, we have The Fall by Michael Sanzone, suggested by KB.
Oh, no. Does KB drink vanilla milkshakes?
Why is he got a legal pad?
What?
Why do you have a legal pad?
To take notes. So I have things to talk about.
That is the shit that Scooby-Doo does, and he fucking hops the bunny backwards.
Bunny.
5 out of 10.
Damn, Connor. 5 out of 10. Stole my number.
I think that's the correct answer.
Well, I gave it a 4. Sorry.
It's valid 4.
Sorry, KB will never see this video.
Look, it's the industry standard, and I mean, take that comment as you will. It doesn't divulge from what you expect it to. It does everything you don't want it to. If you want innovative music, it is just 3 to 4 chords of simple nonsense fun with a slide guitar thrown in the background for approximately 15 seconds to call it country. And I don't like the album art.
I just wrote that it's like vanilla. Like it's like the most plain kind of thing. I mean, it's like nothing really stuck out to me. So, you know, I tried to listen for other things that may have given it merit sometimes. The mix will help, or you know, maybe there's some player in the group that's doing well, and none of that was really there. I mean, I didn't hate it. 4 is not a hate it score for me. 4 is just I wouldn't listen to it again in a normal context. The other thing I wrote is it just felt inauthentic, but I think that's a lot of music. So
You know, you might not listen to it on purpose, but you know where you will hear it? Every car commercial for the next 10 years. Sounds like every song that's been put on any like SUV driving down a windy like highway road.
I thought you were about to plug a playlist full of the songs that we have to review for these videos for the public, and I got so excited.
Should I make that? Comment if I should make that.
I try not to be mean. I try to just
Be mean. Be the asshole.
No, I try to be very just, and then I don't want to. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't hate it. It was really fake, and that bothers me at a fundamental level. As someone that makes music, like I can't look past that, and that applies to a lot of the music that I just genuinely don't like. Is music that is either, I don't know, pick on a couple groups. It's either they made money because they decided to re-record it with an accent, or they made money because they decided to re-record it about Jesus. And a lot of times they couldn't have made it in a real genre. So that's not always true. I will say there are a lot of good artists in both those genres. It's just a lot of people can do that, and that this actually had both of those things going on. It had a little bit of an accent, and some of the lyrics were religious in nature, and that means they were basically trying to shoot as many targets as they could with the record label to get that money. And so again, I didn't hate it. There's just some stuff that genuinely I don't like as a musician.
Grind your gears.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Hollister by Crybaby, suggested by our anonymous YouTube viewer.
Highs sound really good. The bass is lackluster, and there are no mids.
There's too much bass, actually, in the lows.
Okay, I was gonna complain, but these are also bass boosted, so I didn't want to be like, well, it's probably the headphones' fault. I thought.
I'll give it a 7. That's all right.
So I give this like a 6.5.
I gave it a 6.
Yeah, I don't really have anything against this. It's definitely not music that I normally would listen to, but like, I mean, besides, as we were talking about a second ago, there being no mids whatsoever in this song. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, I think minus the mids complaint, my biggest problem with this song is it's too long. Like, club music should honestly, it needs to be 5 minutes or 2.5 minutes. Like, it can't be anything in between that. It needs to be like that. So it just kind of went on a little too long for me to keep vibing with the same thing without there being a like fat techno breakdown.
I appreciate the lack of a fat techno breakdown.
Yeah.
Just wrote down it was a little too boy bandy for me, but I don't always hate that. I have some fond memories of, I think Backstreet Boys Millennium I literally wore out in my CD player. That's also showing my age a whole lot, but I don't know. I wrote that as a plus or minus. The mix was super weird, and I think like we were talking about, I think they just mixed it on smaller speakers. A lot of times, if you mix with something that doesn't have a lot of bass response or a lot of treble, you'll kind of make up for that in the mix, and then when you go to listen to it on another system, it tends to have a lot of that, which is part of why I always recommend to use 3 or 4 different systems, 3 or 4 different sources to find the mix you like. But I really liked the kind of synthetic drums, and I really liked them in the intro. I liked the kind of vibe of the whole track. It had a lot more personality, especially when compared to the last track. So I enjoyed that part of it.
Next up is Melancholy Angel by Visions of Atlantis from Lamont on Instagram.
Lamont's always got them bangers.
The song is catchy if everything didn't sound like crispy dicks.
I'm going to give that like a 6.
I'm going to give that yet again a 6.5.
Well, I give that an 8. I enjoyed that.
I'm such a stickler for the mix on that one. It's, I bet if I listened through regular, normal, everyday listening headphones, it's probably not too noticeably bad. But I should be able to listen to it through anything and it sound good, is my complaint.
I don't know. I agree that it had some weirdness going on, but again, I think it's like we were talking about sample reduction issues. So I think that's essentially like a low quality file that we're hearing that was uploaded by whoever put it on the streaming service in a not great quality. That's really what it sounds like. It sounds like listening to a crappy MP3 you downloaded off of LimeWire instead of something a little better. It's not necessarily that the mix is bad. It's just not clear.
This does sound like somebody recorded a video of this song on their phone, like off of YouTube, and then re-uploaded it.
There's times where my car will like compress the hell out of songs for like a second, and that's kind of what most of this song sounded like. I am gonna retroactively up it to like a 7. I think I was a little too hard on this song because I didn't dislike it, and I think the vocals were the only part that kind of didn't have that effect on it for most of it. I didn't have too many problems beyond the mix with this song. That was fine.
Yeah, I thought the vocals were actually killer. The vocalist did great. I will check this band out because I'm sure there's bound to be a song I like.
Yeah, I just the vibe was right on this song for the genre. It reminded me a lot of some of the early 2000s rock and hard rock that I liked, but it reminds me some of hair metal, and I got some of prog rock. And
all right, ready to roll on?
Let's get it.
Roll Tide. Bam.
Next up is Glass Heart by Caskets, suggested by Solo.
Whoa.
Well, no, you heard the end of the synth note. So it went.
I give that like 7.5.
That's where I'm sitting, 7.5.
I originally gave it a 7 and bumped it up to an 8. Mostly because the breakdown went so hard. Just the build up and then the way it hit and the way it laid in with everything, and that final push in the song was really cool. I really love the energy of the whole track. The only thing I wrote is it was way too much Linkin Park for my tastes. That's not my thing. They're never one of my favorite bands, but I get why people like it. I'm not trying to go out and tell you suck if you like Linkin Park. I don't hate it. It's just that's not my favorite thing. So
yeah, it was good. I was not a fan of the vocalist for whatever reason. The thing is just honestly not my favorite sound.
He did the pop punk voice. He did the hey oh yeah.
That is true. There was like an I hate my mom whine to the vocal that as previously established. I don't like that much. And I think that was a lot of my complaints. The guitar work I thought was great on this. Drums were great. As Carl mentioned, breakdown hit.
Unlike Logan, I do like those vocals. I do think they were a little bit low after we turned on Lossless, so, and that might just be because I was comparing them back to back. I did cheat with this song. I did listen to this early, like a couple weeks ago, so I already knew that I was going to like this one.
Roll on the next track.
Next up is Hardcore by Patra, I think, suggested by Herman Palmer.
Oh, heck yeah.
Is that like a sample of the Macarena? Or did they just go out of their way to remake that sound on a keyboard? It sounds like a $200 arranger.
Are you downloading it?
Oh man, it's in the playlist.
I'm gonna give that like an 8.5.
I see. Yeah, this is like a 9.5.
Yeah, I gave it an 8. Just and that was purely just because a lot of the instruments were like super duper cheesy fake, and it and like the vibe was there, but like I don't know, and it could just be me being equipmentist or whatever about my music gear, but whatever like synth sounds they were using were like they were cheesy. It wasn't like they were retro; they were cheesy. But I enjoyed the vibe a lot of this song and the speed and the whole thing.
I couldn't agree more. The vibe is 100% here. And Logan made a comment earlier about it switching the like drum pattern every couple of bars, and I don't take that as a negative. I think that was kind of cool on this song.
It was only a negative at that one spot, and there was like a spot previously where it had switched the groove, went back to 4 bars of this like new groove, and then switched back. It did it twice. And it kind of did help with the monotony of the length of the song, which is the complaint. It's 4 minutes and 17 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Cut off about 45 seconds of that. Perfect.
You know, for all we know, it could be telling a story though, because like the words are not in English, so
That is very true.
we just kind of had to jam and vibe, and I don't know. I enjoyed all the different drum sounds. Specifically, it was the synth sounds that were kind of cheesy.
I thought the whole general groove of it was just so. There was something about it. It wasn't just like your standard typical reggae groove. Like there was a little more oomph. It was probably all the extra percussion and all the sounds in it that I'm not used to hearing.
I did really like when the like actual like big drum sound came in after the little intro part. That was a cool little hit. I did enjoy that too.
You ready?
Yeah.
The next song is Rerun by Honey Revenge, suggested by our anonymous YouTube viewer.
This is better than the other song I heard from them.
Whoever this is, the singer, they curse like they're a middle schooler. It's not supposed to say that word. That was the goofiest thing I've ever heard.
I'll give that like 6.
Say the right answer here is like the song's like a 7, but for me it's like a 6.
Yeah, I gave it a 7. I think we're all on the same page, though. I think I probably gave it a little more. We talked about this. That whole like genre is kind of one of my things. So I think I tend to be a point higher on average in that kind of that era of music that's going for. Which I guess I can talk about. This definitely sounded like fake Paramore to me, like 100%.
See, I was getting more Pink.
Pink is nowhere near that hard.
The chorus sounds like
The chorus
beat for
we
beat,
could rip
yeah.
a Pink song and sing the words over it.
I'll figure out what that is and put it on the screen right now for the edit. But
I mean, you can do a lot of the Paramore B tracks sound like the verses. I mean, it's like
That's the thing. We were getting chorus. You were picking up verse.
yeah, and the energy and the vibe of the track was too dark to be Pink, I thought, but
I don't know, man. I think you're missing an entire era of Pink where she used to be like a heavy punk rocker chick.
yeah, I remember
And you thought this was heavier than her stuff?
some of it. Yeah, I mean,
Some of it. But
some, no, like
I'm
some
thinking of like Funhouse era.
yeah, some of this song is definitely way heavier than Funhouse. Yeah, because I mean, and that was one of the things I wrote down: the really triggered drums and the really modern heavy guitars and all that stuff was really drivey. I mean, this almost sounded like a band that would have Post in the name, as far as like overall tone.
That
and I
is
think that's
true.
what pushed me further that way.
I think I latched onto the vocals because the vocals were very loud in this mix. They were up front and center. And like I said, I think the reason why it's a 7 is because most people aren't going to put these ridiculous music comparisons together in their head most of the time. And aren't going to have this unrealistic expectation that everything should be mixed perfect. And we're just superficial assholes about everything.
So I'll say this: we're arty people. We're all arty people. We all do things that involve art. And as an artist, one of the biggest skills you have is you correlate things that don't necessarily correlate. A lot of people talk about painters being able to like understand the emotion behind colors and stuff that, you know, those synapses don't work in your brain normally. But what that does as an artist is you end up having really weird opinions about random things and very opinionated opinions about random things. Like I don't know, certain socks make me upset because I'm like, that's just not okay. Like, that sock makes me uncomfortable. And those are not thoughts that normal people have, I don't think. I think that's one of those artist things that, like, your brain melts. So I think we're just, we get deep into it and tend to hear more. I wouldn't necessarily say we're usually pretty good about not being assholes, except for you.
I'm a dick.
I mean, to be fair, we say we're assholes about this song, but none of us gave it under a 6.
No, I think that this is actually pretty solid. It is clearly a passion. This was a passion project. You can tell there's love in this music.
Yeah. So I mean, for example, I like pineapple and jalapeno on the same pizza. I think that might make me one of like 4 people, but most people don't like sweet and spicy on the same pizza. This was kind of like that. You know, this was kind of like I don't know, maybe it had like hamburger on it or something as the meat. Like there was just none of it was bad, and it worked together. But it was kind of there was a lot of things that I wouldn't have thought should go together.
It was like nachos, man.
I don't know, man. Musical nachos is probably more like, you know, I don't even know what musical nachos would be.
Cherry poppin' daddies.
No, I mean it would have to be like something like
the Allman Brothers. Jam
what is that
band.
like? Invisible Giraffe band that sings the Honeybee song on YouTube. Do you know what I'm talking about?
What? You're making shit up.
I might be making stuff up. I mean, it's got to be something that's like a total smorgasbord. Like it's just everywhere.
Oh, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
No, that's just jam bands. You've just named a bunch of jam bands.
Yeah, that's how it should be. That's nachos, man.
No, dude, I think jam bands are just a cheeseburger with too many toppings. That's like that cheeseburger with barbecue on top. It's like you couldn't decide what you wanted, so you got both.
It's so fair.
All right, well, I guess if you want an episode of us just comparing songs to food in ways that doesn't make any sense, you can request that.
We need to bring Big Dale in for that one. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Do we want to tell them to put more songs in the comments?
Put more songs in the comments.
And don't forget we have hats.